This is Soapbox Radio. Potting it out there with My Lime Boots. The Lifestyle Edit.
Hey guys, it's Ryan. It's a Thursday afternoon, 4 o'clock here in Joburg, and the heavens have just opened, and as quickly as they opened, they closed again. I'm chatting live this afternoon to a very special friend. You've known her from before. She is Monique Fleming of Bonafide Beards fame, and was on the show about, how long ago, Mon? About 2-3 months ago?
Yeah, I think about September.
We were chatting, and then we had Joe, Monique's husband, Joe, in studio with us, or we were in another studio because the Wi-Fi had been hit here.
Yes.
Now you can see all the alterations they were doing while we couldn't have the show here.
Correct.
That day, and now there's like jungle gyms and fake grass and all these things.
Beautiful.
Definitely worthwhile hitting our Wi-Fi connection, or what's it, the whatever that connection thing was. Now
Cable.
we can, the fiber.
Fiber,
The fiber.
hey,
Spot the non-technical person in the studio.
My excuse is chemo brain. I don't know what your excuse is.
My excuse is a lack of brain. We chatted to Monique and Joe at that time about what was happening with Bonafide Beards, and it was a great show. And then I think not long after that, I was looking in social media, on my social media, on the posts, and I saw there that Mono put this post up about cancer. Yeah, and it was literally like the proverbial sledgehammer out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And I thought, no, that can't be, that's Mon.
Right?
But I mean, just your response on your reaction immediately was so strong and so full of confidence. The lady that I know,
Yeah.
and that's really what I want to talk to you about. And I think you've got a great story to tell and a great story to share. I think you're only at the beginning of your story.
I am.
And I'm just looking for a situation where we could encourage people and chat around it. So let's start at the beginning. Tell us, how did this whole thing come about?
So, I'm quite vigilant in terms of self-examination.
Okay.
It's something I do on a semi-regular basis, and I happen to have, I hope this doesn't gross you out, but I had really achy boobs. It was that time of the month, and I just thought, wow, they're a little bit more painful than usual. And kind of was just, during that time also doing a self-examination, and happened to feel a lump in my left breast. It hadn't been there before. 3 months, prior that I'd done a self-examination. It wasn't there, and it was kind of the size of. It felt like a frozen pea.
Okay.
It was quite hard. It was circular and hard.
Was it
and
sore
round.
when you touched it?
It wasn't sore. It wasn't sore. And my first thought was, well, that's peculiar. That's not been there before.
Yeah.
And, I'll keep an eye on it. And I waited out about a week just to make sure, it didn't go away by itself. Yeah. And a week later, it was still there. And I diligently called my mammogram center in my area. They know me there very well. I'm 43, so after the age of 40, you should have regular mammograms, at least annual ones.
Sure.
And so called them up, made an appointment for the following day, had a mammogram and a sonar done, and was advised that I should have them biopsied. Well, have it biopsied.
Okay, just the one side?
Well, what we later discovered through the mammogram and the sonar is that I actually had 2 lumps in my left breast, and there was evidence of a lump in my right.
Okay, just the start.
Well, we weren't entirely sure if it was a cyst or what it was. I had actually gone for mammogram 14 months earlier. There was a lump in my right breast then. This happened to be a different one, but that one was tested. It was biopsied and it was benign.
Yeah.
Thank God. This time was a little bit different. And so the results came back 3 days later. I was called into the office and I knew immediately. Because, they've always given me the results telephonically, and this time they needed me to come in, and I said to my husband, well, that's it. It's the big C, let's go. And, the journey began once I got the news. Yeah.
Okay. And tell me, the self-examination, will you always feel lumps, or take it as on the outside? Are there never going to be lumps sort of inside that you can't find by self-examination?
That's a great question. So in my particular case, I felt 2 lumps in the end, just before I went for the mammogram. I felt 2 lumps in my left breast, and I felt no lumps in my right breast. And subsequently, once we did their biopsies and then I actually went for an MRI, they discovered 3 lumps in my right breast, which were undetectable. by the human hand. So, whereas self-examination is, it's detrimental in terms of early detection. Over a certain age, and depending on your genetic makeup, it's really important to have those mammograms and those sonars annually, especially after the age of 40 years.
Now I'm 41 and I've got some man boobs happening over here. Should I be checking myself out too? Seriously?
Breast cancer does not discriminate.
I didn't think so.
No.
Yeah.
I've recently met a gentleman who, at the age of 46, discovered a tumor that was 6 centimeters in diameter.
Sure.
He's had a double mastectomy and he's going through the chemo process. So breast cancer does not discriminate. It's not a female cancer.
Really? Eh?
No.
Yeah, everybody thinks it is.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure. That's why I asked you. So now then, how should I examine myself?
Well, I mean, I could.
Should I use myself as a...
It's difficult to show people on radio.
There's a Facebook live stream, so
I
can
know,
check it
but
out
I don't
there.
feel like fondling my boobs on.
We can just like random, sort of in theory talk about it.
So the idea is that with your arm raised, you move in a
circular.
Look, I have chemo brain, so I can't remember if it's clockwise or anti-clockwise. I don't know if it makes a difference. One of the two, in a circular direction from the outside of your breast towards the middle to the nipple, and then same side. Check glands as well, lymph glands. My breast cancer happened to spread to my right lymph gland, which was removed during surgery. But there are, just Google it. They're lovely, demonstrations
and
online.
YouTube videos.
Correct.
Maybe I should make a YouTube video showing for men how to do that. To go through a bit of manscaping first before we do that. Mon, coming back to more serious side of things, does cancer run in your family?
That's a regular question I was asked by doctors.
Yeah.
Do you have a family history of breast cancer? And the answer is now we do.
Okay. Really?
So we've never had breast cancer in our side of the family before. So it has started with me.
Okay, starting there. Hey? Linnell says on
the statistics are that 80% of breast cancer occur without there having been a history in the family.
Really? So it's not so genetic as once thought?
Yeah, it is and it isn't. But
it is, yeah. Okay. Linnell says on Facebook she likes your scarf on your head. You're looking on point there.
My duke.
Thank you to Linnell. Hang around, guys. When we come back, we're going to continue talking to Monique and understanding more about her journey. We'll be back shortly.
This is Soapbox Radio. Potting it out there with My Lime Boots. The Lifestyle Edit. Share your thoughts and be part of the show now. Send a message on Twitter or Facebook at MyLimeBoots. Find My Lime Boots on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at MyLimeBoots, and on YouTube at My Lime Boots Live.
I'm back this afternoon chatting to Monique about her cancer journey. Monique Fleming, who we've had on the show before and is chatting to us very openly, the warrior princess herself this afternoon chatting to us. Monique, tell us, what was going through your mind after you'd been for the biopsy? Did you think it wouldn't be that serious? What was going through your mind? What is the emotional process?
Intuitively, I knew it was cancer.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I knew right from the beginning. I've experienced lumps before, and this one felt different. It looked, the feeling was different, and
just very, very hard. Eh?
Yeah. The others have been almost like perhaps a squishy bean. If I can compare, foods to lumps, lumps to foods. Yeah. This was a frozen pea. In the past, they were more like beans, squishy beans, softer, not as hard, and all round. You go through the whole, your life kind of flashes before your eyes in a moment. Me personally, and this is, and I've said this before, cancer is a very personal thing. This is my cancer. This is my journey. These are my experiences. This is my reality. And for me, it was quite a pragmatic start to the discovery. For me, it was about, okay, I have cancer. What steps do we need to take to get it the hell out of here? Yeah. Okay. Let's kick its butt. How do we do that? What are the steps? Who do I need to see? Where do I need to go? And I'm very much a pragmatic person like that. I like to take things into my own control. And that's one of the lessons I've had to learn during this journey, is I've had to surrender a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing is black and white. Nothing is constant. not even your diagnosis, because that changed twice.
Really?
You know, so it's there've been a lot of silver linings for me in this journey. Yeah.
Silver linings such as?
Well, just in terms of my own learning experience and growth, and learning to ask for help, learning to surrender, learning to trust a power greater than myself, because at the end of the day, that's really what's in control, or who's in control, depending on your belief. You know, the power, the higher power of or the God of your understanding. And for me, my connection is far greater, and my trust is a lot greater.
Why do you think you have that pragmatic approach? I would almost say it's because that's just the way you are in life. I mean, I've known you, about 4 or 5 years now, and that's always been your approach. It seems, some people, when they get this diagnosis, seem to fall to pieces. I mean, I'm sure you were emotional about it.
I still am.
Yeah,
I
can see in your eyes.
Yeah, just show me a puppy advert and I'm in tears.
Really? Well, we're on Facebook.
No.
What do you think caused this continuation of the pragmatic approach? Why do you think you didn't just fall to pieces?
Look, I mean,
on a long-term basis.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I've been on a spiritual, path of growth, and I really woke up one morning and I decided I had 2 choices to make, and I could either not get up, or I could, and I've never done anything to the detriment of my own health. I'm not, I'm not stupid. I'm not a superhero. I don't claim to be one. But on the days that I feel like I can get up and dress up and show up, like today or yesterday or the day before, I will, and I do. And on the days that I'm not feeling well and, I'm living through a chemo hell, I rest. I take care of myself. I'm kind to myself. Yeah? Absolutely. Yeah. And I listen to my body. I listen to my feelings. And it's about surrender, a lot of surrender to both getting up and staying down when you need to.
I think it's a wise understanding of the situation.
Yes.
Do you think having a son keeps that driving force going inside of you as a mother?
Yeah, I mean, he is my excuse my French. Lost my earphones for a moment for those who couldn't see. He's totally my number one driving force. He's not my only driving force, though. I have the most incredible husband and phenomenal marriage and just amazing support structure, family, mother, father, brother, sister, nieces, nephews, aunties, uncles, everybody has pulled together to support me during this time, and I'm very, very grateful for that, because again, it's my personal experience, and I'm very fortunate and grateful to have that, and it helps. It helps you get.
I'm sure. How did you tell him? Did you wait before you had the diagnosis?
Son? Yeah, so he's 7.
Yeah, a difficult concept for a 7-year-old.
It is, and because there's no form of reference, the idea was that I was not going to keep anything a secret from him. We would have full transparency, and we have that relationship anyway. And so when we had the full kind of idea of what we knew exactly what was happening, we explained, mommy has bad cells in her boobies. Not I'm sick, not mommy's got cancer. Not, there's never been a negative undertone.
This is the situation.
Yeah, as horrendous as it is, we've always looked at the bright side. I mean, the sun's come out of this beautiful storm. It's kind of relevant. And so we kept the facts simple. But they were the truth. Mommy has bad cells. Mommy needs an operation to take rid of these bad cells. They're going to cut off my boobs. We're not sure if I'm going to get new ones or not. I'm going to need to take medicine called chemo. That medicine makes your hair fall out. You vomit quite a bit. You're very tired. Sometimes you can be grumpy. But it doesn't make me love you any less, and I'm not going anywhere soon. We're doing all of these things to make sure that I'm going to bug you way into my 80s, kind of thing. And we've also supported him with a play therapist.
Okay.
And based on how we've handled things this far, she's super happy with how well adjusted he is to the situation. He has developed quite an overwhelmingly sense of feeling responsibility for me, and protection, which is normal. He's a little boy, I'm his mommy, and he's an only child, so it's to be expected, but nothing on an unhealthy level.
No, sure. I think I commend you guys for that decision, really, to arm even even if he is as young as 7 years old,
Yeah.
to arm him with that information that he knows what's happening.
Correct.
Rather than just seeing mommy not getting out of bed one day when he's used to this vital mommy
Yes.
who never not got out of bed.
Or
you know?
coming home and finding mommy bald,
Yes,
you know.
no, exactly.
You
know.
And so it's about managing expectations, and also for me as an adult, I know that if I don't have the full story, it leaves a lot of room
Exactly.
in your head for BS
What if?
and
Yeah.
mind stories, and then you start panicking, you know, and the fear becomes overwhelming. And I don't know if you know the acronym for fear, but it's false evidence appearing real.
Yeah.
And the minute you have the real evidence, the minute you have the facts, there's no room for fear.
And then you can address it. And like you say,
Correct.
I could almost see you drawing up a list and say, okay, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Monday, there, because I'm a bit like that too, you know.
Yeah.
And I think some great advice for people listening in terms of the play therapy, giving him the space to express
Correct.
in a way that he expresses. I think too often we as adults expect youngsters to express and communicate in the same way we do.
Right.
And they obviously don't.
They don't.
He's 7 years old.
They don't.
So again,
And also as adults, we want to control children in a way. You know, you shouldn't feel that. Don't feel sad. Don't feel scared. You know,
Yeah.
no, this is an opportunity. Okay, you're feeling sad. Tell
Let's
me
talk
what.
about it,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're feeling scared. Let's
Yeah.
talk about that.
Yeah.
So giving them also a safe space to express themselves
Yeah.
and how they're feeling.
Yeah.
And that's
Okay.
what we've done with my
Great,
child.
some great advice there for the listeners. I see Linnell has come through on Facebook and says, "You have taught me to be positive, brave, and stand firm to beliefs. I think I'll go for a checkup, and I've always been afraid. Let me be afraid in the light and do this for my kids." There we go, Linnell.
Beautiful,
That's the
Linnell,
right
beautiful.
attitude.
Bring it out into
really,
the
hey?
light, and that's exactly what we're
Exactly,
doing.
yeah.
And I feel like if I can save one more woman's life
Sure.
by speaking to you live on radio, then everything I'm going through is worth it. And
Yes.
I will do it 100
Oh.
more times.
Well, I commend you again for your openness and willingness to talk. Guys, stay with us. When we come back, I want to chat to Monique about what life is like now as she lives day by day with cancer.
You're tuned in to Soapbox Radio. Podding it out there with My Line Boots. Share your thoughts and be part of the show now. Send a message on Twitter or Facebook at My Line Boots. Find My Line Boots on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. At My Line Boots. And on YouTube. At My Line Boots Live.
I'm back this afternoon chatting to Monique Fleming about her journey with cancer, which she is sharing as an open book, as I know her to be. And I can't stop saying it sounds a bit corny, but I commend you, and I just have even more respect for you than I've ever had in my life, and it's been huge. Tell us, Monique, what is life like? We spoke about the days of getting up, getting down, not getting up. What is life like in terms of diet, in terms of daily routine? Everything must surely change.
So, I mean, you know, in theory, just before we went off air, you said life with cancer. The idea is I actually don't have cancer anymore.
Okay.
So I had a double mastectomy at the beginning of October. I was fortunate enough to have a reconstruction done immediately.
Okay.
So the idea is that they cut the cancer out.
So it's gone.
In theory, it's
Yes,
gone.
okay.
And the therapy that I'm going through now, the chemotherapy, really is actually preventative.
Okay.
Just in case there's a minuscule of a cell that got away or was hiding that they didn't catch or didn't see during the biopsies or the mastectomy. So this is all preventative. In terms of my daily life, you know, I'm going to like share a secret on air because I get asked very often, or told, I hope you're eating very well. I hope you're healthy.
Yeah.
I hope you're having an alkaline diet. I hope. And I'd like to just say for the people out there who've not experienced chemotherapy, you eat what you can when you can.
Yeah.
So a lot of the times I'll smile and wave and go, yes, I'm eating Brussels sprouts and kale. I'm really eating burgers and chips and pizza.
Regular like McDonald's, and they smile and say, "You again," as you come to
you
the
know,
drive-thru.
because you really you eat what you can stomach, because often you go days without eating.
Sure.
I mean, sometimes the nausea is so incredibly violent that you can't even swallow your own saliva, and smells affect you and tastes affect you, and things taste differently because chemo affects all of that. But on the days that it gets a little bit better, you know, kind of the 2 weeks prior, like before my next therapy, I do start leaning more towards a healthier diet. And assume for myself that perhaps once I'm out of this journey and I can focus on something other than just not throwing up, I'll look at a more holistic diet.
Lots of kale at that point.
Exactly. Yeah.
How often is the treatment? Once a month?
So at the moment, it's once every 3 weeks, until the last one is my 22nd of December.
Last one?
This particular brand.
Yeah.
So a lot of people refer to this particular treatment as the Red Devil. I've, however, opted to name it the Red Cherry because the thought of putting the devil inside my body
not gonna happen.
freaks me out. So I'm putting red cherry juice inside.
There we go. Gummy berry juice, I think.
Right. And I actually had a port inserted, for them to administer the chemo. And once the chemo's done and I'm free of everything, I'm going to have the port removed and I'm having 2 cherry tattoos.
Oh, there we go. In that spot. Yeah.
So that'll be a great Christmas present. 22nd December is my last red cherry.
Yeah.
And then in January, I start a treatment that'll be once a week for 12 weeks.
Okay. Is that radiation or is it still chemo?
No, it's still chemotherapy.
Okay.
So I haven't needed radiotherapy or radiation because my tumors were less than a centimeter.
Okay.
Yeah. So 2 in my... And that's the other thing. I had 2 different kinds of cancers.
I know. You were telling me. You said
like they were going to throw the book
positive
at me.
and negative.
Positive, negatives, this cancer, that cancer.
Yeah.
They were like, dude, like really? Do you have to be that different, Monique? Come on
I think the
now.
answer is obviously yes.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Tell us about the positive and the negative.
Okay, yeah, that's an interesting question. So particularly with breast cancer, it likes to feed off hormones.
Okay.
So if we talk about a positive tumor, it means that particular tumor has been feeding off your body's natural production of estrogen or progesterone or another hormone called HER2. In my particular case, I was estrogen and progesterone positive in my right breast. However, in my left breast, I had a triple negative tumor, meaning it wasn't feeding off the hormones at all. It was just feeding. It's a pretty invasive and aggressive cancer. And so that's why they've just kind of thrown everything at me. And initially they were going to give me radiation. My oncologist has recommended that I don't need it though at this stage because my tumors were so small. Very early detection. I mean, really, really early. And once the chemo's finished, I will start a tablet that I will take for 5 years to suppress my body's natural production of my hormones. Yeah. It means a little bit of early menopause, but hopefully we can deal with the hot flashes.
We'll find a special name for that.
Rather hot flashes than cancer, darling. Yeah.
I'm with you on that one.
Yeah.
Tulani says to us on Twitter, tuned in, please tell her, that's Monique, that she's a hero. And thanks once again for sharing her story. And 43 years of age, she sounds 20.
Yeah.
Well, Tulani, you've got to meet Monique. You'll know that she's definitely 20 if you met her.
Bless. Thank you.
Stay with us, guys. When we come back, we're going to keep chatting to Monique.
This is Soapbox Radio. Potting it out there with My Lime Boots. The Lifestyle Edit. Share your thoughts and be part of the show now. Send a message on Twitter or Facebook at My Lime Boots. Find My Lime Boots on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at My Lime Boots, and on YouTube at My Lime Boots Live.
I'm back chatting to Monique, who we're talking about red cherries this afternoon and how she sees that in her life and what she's doing with the cancer that's been removed from her body. Monique, we were talking just now before the break about your treatment and that process. So we're talking a time span of 5 years. After 5 years, everything should be back to normal. Is that a way to put it? I suppose you can never be, nothing is ever normal after you've been through something so traumatic.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, life as I know it has changed, and the person who I am has changed. And as I said earlier in the show, that nothing is constant, nothing is a given. So right now, I take it one day at a time, and I will cross that bridge in 5 years' time when I get there. Yeah. For now, it's just one day at a time.
100%.
Just for today.
There we go. I agree with you. You should really only take one day at a time.
That's it.
Really, nothing more you can do. On Facebook, Eddie says to us, and Eddie, I take it as a man, this is emotional and great to listen to. Thank you. So
you're very welcome,
getting everyone going there, So, Monique, do you find after you've been for treatment, that's when you need the rest more? Those are the days you incline more to stay in bed?
Yeah, I've kind of nicknamed it the chemo coma.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of slip into one, and I have very little recollection of those days, post chemo. There's a lot of nausea involved. Sometimes there's throwing up. It's quite a haze, and it's just a matter of having the right support in terms of medication. So, don't know if I can say this on air, but I have a cannabis oil to support me on those days.
I hear a lot of people using it. Yeah.
Yes.
Do you find it works?
I think it's all relative. I do combine it with medication, modern day medication. And for me, I find a good balance using both. I generally use it just before bed because I don't particularly like the feeling, that it can sometimes give off. But yeah, the right nausea medication, pain medication, lots of Lucozade helps. Ice cold Lucozade, yeah.
Hey, Lucozade's been around for years.
Right?
I can remember when I was a kid, Lucozade was the thing. I think the bottle still looks the same.
I think so, just plastic now, no glass. So yeah, it does take, I kind of give myself 3 to 5 days to kind of wake up from that space, and then almost another 2 or 3 days where I just really allow myself to rest. And fortunately, being a business owner and running my own business, I have the luxury of doing that because I have an incredible support structure in terms of my staff and my husband, who they pitch in exactly when they need to. Yeah.
Do you find yourself now when you're shopping for food, or maybe Joe shops for food, do you find yourself thinking differently about your family's diet? Do you find yourself concerned with what, we buy all these lovely green lettuce at Woolworths and places like that, and worrying about the hormones and the antibiotics that are in there, which one day could, maybe.
My take on it, again, it's my opinion, my personal opinion. I feel like, and I thought about this a lot, what can I eradicate from my life to prevent myself from getting cancer again, or someone I love? And at the end of the day, you could move to the Himalayas. You could cloak yourself in a robe from head to toe. You could throw away your cell phone. You could plant your own vegetables. You could raise your own stock. Cancer will still find you. If you're predisposed genetically, cancer will find you.
Going to,
you just might be on top of the mountain and a bolt of lightning strikes next to you. You go into a state of shock and it wakes up the cancer that's been dormant. So I'm not living my life.
Sure.
I'm not denying myself. I'm a little bit more aware, just in terms of a healthy, more conscious. But it's not. It hasn't changed who I am. It hasn't changed how I eat. It doesn't change how I behave. I haven't suddenly become this overprotective, like, don't eat that, don't do that, put that cell phone down.
How free range is that chicken?
No. And my own personal belief is that what's meant to be will be,
will happen,
or whether it's cancer or not.
Okay, well, the show's nearly over. I've got one more question for you, but before we go, the people have been commenting, as I've been showing you on Facebook and on Twitter, and I need you to choose someone who's given us a really great comment. I know some of them have disappeared from this list here, but you know which ones I'm talking about. And let me know who you think should win our Abercrombie & Fitch Woman Fragrance from Bacher & Co.
Tulani's post keep bringing like a little tear to my eye. All those hearts just
Twitter.
kind of made my heart kind of leak through my eyes a little bit.
Okay. So Tulani, huh?
Tulani.
Okay, so Tulani sent us on Facebook and on Twitter. He was the chap on Twitter who sent us the comment saying that Monique sounds like a 20-year-old. Well, I think
well, just for that reason, he bloody deserves it.
100% Tulani. I'll be in touch with you a little bit later. That's for Tulani. And we have one for you because you're just so gorgeous and so wonderful. So there's one for you too.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy, Mon. Bless you. Thank you. Lastly, Mon, what is your message of hope to someone who's maybe in bed today, having one of those days?
It's so cliched, but what gets me through my darkest days is prayer, meditation, and the idea that this too shall pass. That just for today, I might be feeling like I can't go on, and I can't endure another chemo. I can't vomit again. But in the back of my head is a great prayer. And I ask the God of my understanding to grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and and the wisdom to know the difference. And in those dark, dark moments, I know that together with my faith, this will pass. In fact, faith or no faith. The good news is nothing lasts forever. The bad news is nothing lasts forever.
Sometimes it's us that doesn't last forever.
Right. But it
Yeah.
will pass.
Yeah,
it
I'm
will
with
pass.
you.
And
I'm
just for today, I'm feeling like this, but tomorrow will bring something new. And if I can just get through today, just feeling like I'm going through hell, I know tomorrow's a new day. The sun's going to come up. And if I'm feeling that way tomorrow again, that's okay, because you know what? The sun's going to come up again
The next day.
The next day.
Yeah, 100%. Well, Mon, first of all, I've got to give you a hug.
you're
I love you so much.
I love you.
Whoopsie, lost use earphones. Thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you so
You're
much for
very
sharing, as I
welcome.
knew you would.
You're very welcome.
I've just posted on Facebook and on Twitter all of Monique's or her Instagram account, MonaBean74, where you can follow Monique's journey and engage with her and send her some encouragement. And I'm sure she will send you some encouragement too. Monique, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
100%.
As I said before, if I can just encourage one more woman to feel her boobies and maybe go for a mammogram and a sonar, I feel like my job here is done.
Wonderful. There's some wise words for you guys this afternoon. I hope we're listening to it. Some much wisdom dispensed this afternoon. That was Soapbox Radio, and I'll be back with you guys next week.
You've been listening to Soapbox Radio. Potting it out there with My Line Boots. Find My Line Boots on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. At My Line Boots. And on YouTube. At My Line Boots Live.